Yevgeny Prigozhin. The name itself evokes a sense of mystery, a whisper of power in the shadows. He is the enigmatic figure at the heart of Russia's current geopolitical drama, a man who rose from humble beginnings to become a confidant of Putin and a key player on the world stage. His story is one of ambition, ruthlessness, and an unwavering loyalty to the Kremlin. Prigozhin's early years were a far cry from the corridors of power he would eventually inhabit. Born in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, in 1961, he spent his youth navigating the complexities of Soviet life. A stint in prison for theft and fraud seemed to foreshadow a life on the fringes of society. However, Prigozhin possessed an uncanny ability to adapt and exploit opportunities. With the fall of the Iron Curtain, Prigozhin, like many others, saw a chance to reinvent himself. He began modestly, selling hot dogs on the streets of St. Petersburg, but his entrepreneurial spirit soon led him to more lucrative ventures. He established a catering company that quickly gained prominence, eventually catching the attention of the newly elected President Vladimir Putin. This marked a turning point in Prigozhin's life, catapulting him into the orbit of the Kremlin. The early 2010s saw Prigozhin's influence expand beyond catering and into the murky world of private military companies. He founded the Wagner Group, a shadowy organization that would become synonymous with Russian military interventions abroad. The Wagner Group, comprised primarily of former Russian military personnel, provided a deniable force for the Kremlin to project power in conflicts like Syria and Ukraine. Operating under a veil of secrecy, the Wagner Group became notorious for its brutal tactics and disregard for human rights. Accusations of war crimes and human rights abuses followed the group's activities in Syria, where they were accused of targeting civilians and carrying out extrajudicial killings. Yet the Kremlin continued to deny any official ties to the Wagner Group, maintaining a carefully constructed distance while benefiting from its actions. The Wagner Group's involvement in Ukraine, however, brought Prigozhin into direct conflict with the Russian military establishment. His criticism of the Defense Ministry's handling of the war, coupled with his growing political ambitions, created a rift that would ultimately lead to the Wagner Mutiny, a dramatic event that shook the foundations of Putin's regime. Prigozhin's relationship with Putin is complex. A delicate dance between loyalty and ambition. He has been described as Putin's chef, a nod to his catering company's role in securing lucrative government contracts. Yet, Prigozhin's influence extends far beyond the culinary world. He has become a trusted operative, a fixer who handles sensitive tasks for the Kremlin, often operating in the shadows. Putin, a former KGB officer, values loyalty above all else, and Prigozhin has proven himself a staunch ally. He has been instrumental in advancing Russia's interests abroad, using the Wagner Group to expand Russian influence in Africa and the Middle East. Prigozhin's online troll factories, accused of meddling in foreign elections, have also served as a tool for the Kremlin to sow discord and undermine Western democracies. However, Prigozhin's growing ambition and outspoken criticism of the Russian military establishment have tested the limits of Putin's tolerance. The Wagner Mutiny, a direct challenge to Putin's authority, exposed the fragility of their alliance, raising questions about the future of their relationship and the stability of Putin's regime. The Wagner Mutiny, a short-lived but dramatic event in June 2023, sent shockwaves through Russia and the world. Prigozhin, frustrated by the Russian military's handling of the war in Ukraine and fueled by his own political ambitions, ordered his Wagner mercenaries to march on Moscow. The mutiny, though ultimately unsuccessful, exposed deep fissures within the Russian state and challenged Putin's grip on power. The ease with which Wagner forces were able to seize control of the southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don and advance towards Moscow, encountering little resistance, highlighted the vulnerability of Putin's regime. The mutiny also revealed the depth of dissatisfaction within the ranks of the Russian military and security services, with many expressing sympathy for Prigozhin's criticisms of the defense establishment. While the mutiny was quickly quelled, its impact on Putin's authority was undeniable. It shattered the image of Putin as an infallible leader, exposing him as vulnerable and fallible. The incident also raised questions about the loyalty of Russia's security forces and the potential for future challenges to Putin's rule. Prigozhin's current whereabouts and the ultimate fate of the Wagner Group remain uncertain, adding further intrigue to an already volatile situation.